Okay, so I get a lot of frustrating moments in terms of 50 Shades of Grey and why men should read 50 Shades of Grey. I have heard it's a chick book. Okay, there's not. Oh, there are gun scenes. There's. Come on, guys! You've watched The Notebook. You know the effect of romance on ladies. Now, there's a lot of words, and even some big words in 50 Shades of Grey, but I am of the mindset that men are intelligent creatures. Are you guys telling me you're not? Alright, so why should you read it? I started with like a top 10 list, but it wasn't going real well. Probably because, well, yeah, it just wasn't going well. And let me just start with the first and most obvious. Have you seen the effects reading the book has had on the woman in your life, or the women in general? Have you? Yeah. Now imagine if you had this knowledge of what was in that book. This could bode well for you. You have to understand. This is inside. It's like insider trading, man. This is inner knowledge of what goes on in a woman's brain. According to my oldest son, there's not enough room in his brain to understand how women think, which you have to understand. He's being funny. But this is insider knowledge. You can understand the insecurity that all women have. And yes, by the description of the book, in the book of Anna Steele, she's gorgeous. Oh, the hardship of being too skinny. But everybody, all women have their insecurities about everything. Mine was always about being overweight. So it was always, oh, yeah. So we'll leave it at that. All right. So, because this book is written from the point of view of Miss Anna Steele, you do get the inner workings of what goes on, the insecure comments, the insecure in moments of even just eating dinner, how insecurity happens. And it happens that easily because we are so used to judging ourselves and the voices in our head that's just how it goes. Now, let me ask you this, men. Have you told your partner that they're beautiful, amazing, let's see, dazzling, let's see, the words are awe-inspiring, that they've bewitched you lately? You know, you might want to try that. Just saying. They could really be effective for you. Because if you aren't telling them they're beautiful, maybe somebody else is. Or even worse, maybe if you're not telling them they're beautiful, nobody else is. Because our mirrors, for women, can sometimes be a little defective, a little faulty. And we hear the voices of people in our heads telling us about that reflection in the mirror that should never be there. And I think it was in Pretty Woman, and Richard Gere's character pays Julia Roberts' character a compliment, and she says the bad stuff's easier to believe. Be persistent, men. If we women don't take a compliment well, keep doing it till we do. You know, there's lots of things that just consistency and persistency will get you there. Here's a big one. Don't take your lady for granted. And I think 50 Shades of Grey kind of does that. Granted, they're, the first stages of romance and being a couple and all that are exciting. The first kiss, the first helicopter ride, first time in the R8, first dinner out, those things, there's a certain excitement there. And after years of marriage or dating or whatever, sure, some of the sizzle is gone as you're discussing who's going to take out the trash and do the dishes. But it doesn't have to be. It's all in how you talk to each other and how you think of each other. What if you just send a text message right now saying, can't wait for later. You don't have to explain it. Just do it. And then do something later instead of falling asleep. So, yeah, don't take, in relationships, being taken for granted is probably one of the worst things. Because, again, in relationship with women, we already kind of feel like, and if you take it for granted that we're going to always be there, what if your woman's not always there? What if she just gets tired of holding down the fort and whatever? But again, notice the little things. Compliments. Not so little to a lady. And let's go back. Have I mentioned the sex scenes? So, the sex scenes in 50 Shades of Grey, in all three books, some are pretty heated, some are pretty risque, shall we say. But the thing is, they have variety. Not the same old, same old. Get where I'm going with this. A little spice, never a bad thing. But one thing that Christian Grey does that might be missed by, referring it to it as mummy porn. No, what his character does in the book, because I get it's fiction, is he's attentive to her needs. And when it's all about the contract, and chapter 16, those who read it, that's, if you're not in by chapter 16, you're not going to be in. You gotta understand that being there, making plans, doing things, considering that other person is huge. Heard a study once on TV that kind of fascinated me. They were, I don't even know, like Good Morning America, Oprah, I have no idea. But it was the difference in men and women. And I remember it being about a piece of fish. Okay, ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Men, you have no idea. Because if, per se, a woman cooks dinner, and one of the pieces of fish comes out and it doesn't look good, she will take that piece of fish and put it on her plate and give you, spouse, partner, or whatever, the pretty plate. You don't notice because it doesn't matter to you, because it's all going to your stomach and you don't care. And someone cooked you dinner, yay you. But she will give you that piece because she cares. See, that's that thing. You have to start noticing and being engaged. I think that's part of where the book surprised me most of all, was Christian Grey's character went from being standoffish and very at an arm's length to not being able to get enough, and telling her so. It's kind of a cool thing to hear. Okay, and the last reason that I'm going to give today for why men need to read 50 Shades of Grey is, it's a great conversation starter, don't you think? Because you can say that you don't understand it. Oh, and we who have read it will feel the need to explain it to you. As I said in my first reading of it, There's not a lady in the world who does not want to be talked to like he talks to her. Okay, there are some things like good girl that wouldn't go over real well with me, but because I'm kind of, yeah, that wouldn't go over real well with me. But some of the other things he says and does, he plans things. Plans dinners. Granted, he has a full-time staff. I will give you that any day of the week. But let me simply say this. The beautiful comments, the amazing comments at times when a woman is feeling most vulnerable and insecure can go miles and miles in that lady's brain and in her heart. And quite frankly, it's the brain you have to contend with first, because you have no idea. I had no idea that beautiful women had self-doubts, never having been one, and was surprised to learn that, you know, Tyra Banks was called ugly. Don't you people feel a little silly right now? Okay, enough of that. But seriously, it is a secret weapon for those men who actually take the time to read this book, the series of books. Because you can't just read the first one, because you really won't learn a lot from the first one. And one of the most romantic things he did in my world, because music is so huge to me, is he wrote the playlist that he did on the iPad. Huge. Plus, if you include Sting and the Police in anything for me, when, and have you listened to the words to the scientist? Yeah, just a good day. And the second thing he did that was huge was including her passion on the iPad, which was to give her the British Library. When you notice the passions of your partner, male, female, whatever, that goes miles and miles in the heart of that partner. When you don't have a clue what's important to their heart, you're not gonna get into the heart. And you can be married 50 years, and if you don't have a clue what's important to the heart of that person sitting beside you, you're not really there. So, get in the ball game. All right. So men, get reading. If you like this video, please like it down there. I get lots of people watching the videos, but nobody likes it. Kind of makes me feel a little insecure myself. All right. So that's it. Again, I'm Courtney Edwards, working on a website. But for now, it's just my Scentsy website, which is harborsense.scentsy.us. And if you want to get a hold of me by email, my email is harborsense@gmail.com. Have a great day. And men, get reading. Come on. Get in the game.